right, welcome to the NSLDS hands-on session. Good afternoon. Everybody came back from lunch refreshed? Did you guys get a chance to eat lunch? I hope so. I scarfed down one of those sandwiches. That wasn't that delicious, but I ate it anyway because I was starving, so hopefully yours was better than mine. My name is Lisa Walker. With me today is Helen Hidalgo, and in the back we have our wonderful SMEs that help us with NSLDS. So if you guys have any questions during the session, you raise your hand, and either one of them will come and help you, or myself or Helen will come and assist you today. How many of you use NSLDS? Okay, perfect. We like to see that. So how many of you are from the registrar's office? Okay, great. Good. And how many are, and then I'm assuming the rest of you are financial aid administrators, but does anybody do dual duty? Got a couple that do dual duty? Okay, that's a lot of work. Well, today we hope that we give you a nice overview of the NSLDS so that we can provide you a little bit of everything, so that if you don't necessarily do it, you can be aware of what's there, and you can share that information back with your folks back home. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Now, you have these lovely pieces of paper in front of you. Please don't take them home. They belong to us. So it will not help you. We're going to be using a training site today, and these are user ID and a password for that training site today that you'll be using. So again, please don't take them with you. Also, you want to make sure that you use these user ID and all the information that's provided here at TG Mailbox, all that good stuff. So the first thing I'd like to go ahead and let you do is log into your computer. So I'm going to go ahead and give you access back to your computers. And first, if you'll notice that the ID there at the top, it's a 0. It's not the letter O, so make sure you use a 0 or you're going to get that lovely message that says, no, can't log on, nice red that makes you be like, oh no. So again, 0. So go ahead, take that blue paper, and you're going to log in. So you should have, on your desktop there's an icon. Sorry, one second. So you'll have an icon there specific for you guys. We tried to provide a shortcut there for you. Click on that shortcut, and then that's going to open the NSLDS for you, our training site there. And then you'll go ahead and log on with that user ID and password that we provided for you. Again, if you're having any problems, raise your hand. We have lots of assistance. Did I forget something, Jose? Yes, we said yeah. Yep. The number 0, not the letter O. Also not the letter L, but I don't think I have any of that problems around here, so I didn't see any. All right. Anybody not logged in?
Also remember, the password is case sensitive. So that F and that A are capitalized, and that S is actually a $.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Sorry? Yep.
Okay, it looks like we have a couple people who still have not gone in.
For those people that are joining us, we are actually trying to log into a training site, and we have these blue papers, so you can just have a seat and somebody will come and assist you getting logged in. Of course, anywhere you like. For those who are in the back who are not at a computer, if you'd like to come up, there's plenty. But if not, that's okay too, no pressure. Right, it looks like most of you are in. I would like to draw your attention to the big monitors while we let the rest of you get logged in. Usually at this point, I would take control back, so you couldn't play around on your computers because we're mean like that, But we would like to let those other people get logged in. So this is the menu page. I'm sure most of you have seen this page before and are familiar with it. On this page, you'll notice that we have the little M that's in that first box. That's where we provide you some messages. So if we do something new or if we make some changes, we like to alert you to those changes, and so we'll provide messages for you there. We also provide some quick links on this page for you to get you faster to that financial aid or enrollment or your transfer monitoring pages. We also have on this page the search bars so that you can find your individual. We have system requirements. We have the ways linked so that you can contact us that provides all our contact information. You can also find our contact information on the little telephone if you click on the telephone. We've also provided you frequently asked questions. And we also allow you to download our help if you'd like to have a paper copy. How's everybody doing? Are we all logged in now?
I believe.
Okay, fantastic. If you're not, we will give you the opportunity to get logged in, but at this point, we're going to go ahead and take control because I want to show you some information and some good things on these other tabs that we have for you. Okay, so next we're going to go to that Aid tab. This is where you're going to be able to find all that information about a student's loan or their grants, and we'll actually come back to this page because I want to highlight a few things for you on the loan history page. Then we have the Enroll tab. That's where you're going to do your enrollment reporting. You can also do your GE submittals. You will also be able to find here your students' programs that you've got them enrolled in, their usage for subsidized usage. Then we have our GE tab. This is where we put the results of that GE reporting. And then we'll move on to the Org tab. This is where we have all the information about your organization. We are actually going to bring your attention back to this page later on because we've added a new link for a new page called the Org Profile page. And for those that went to our NSLDS update session or would like to go tomorrow, because there will be another session tomorrow, that we'll talk about that page. And then we have our Reports tab, which has our report list and our web report list. And last, we have our Transfer Monitoring tab, which has all your stuff for your transfer monitoring for your students. Okay, how's everybody feeling so far? Pretty comfortable? Okay. I would guess that most of you probably only use maybe 2 of those tabs on a pretty regular basis. Yeah. So this is a good opportunity for you to ask any questions during this session or after, or even take advantage of our resources, the Resource Center here. If there's other pages or other parts of NSLDS that interest you that you'd like to learn more about and see if that's something you'd like to use at your school. All right. We are going to move into the Aid tab. Let's start talking about that loan history. But before we do that, I would like to show you, whoops, sorry about that. Oh, I guess I should tell you about our agenda. Sorry about that. So, sorry, go back to the agenda. We're going to go, obviously, we already did the overview. We're going to talk a little bit about some key points to the loan history page in particular, so I can show you, highlight some things that hopefully will be useful to you. Then we're going to do a little bit of enrollment reporting. And last, we'll talk about that org profile page and talk about the NSLDS reports. All right, so we added a new functionality for you guys, the award ID search. And this new search ability lets you be able, if you have that award ID, maybe off a list, you could do a copy and paste function and be able to put that into that award ID search without having to utilize that other option of the student name, date of birth, SSN. So we're just trying to provide you another avenue to be able to look up a student. We provide that for you on both. You'll see here on that menu tab and also on the loan history page. And I'll show you that in real time. All right. Here we go. Oops. Did it go there? Okay, great. All right. So again, you can see it here on the menu page, award ID. You still have your other search options that you can utilize. And then again here under Aid, under the loan history, the award ID. So, are you guys ready to practice entering this award ID? Again, I apologize because today you have to enter in all 21 characters, but we envision that you would actually use this by doing a cut and paste. Maybe you're working on some other document. So you will use that exercise sheet. We're going to give you control, but I will go ahead and do it first so that you can see. I'm going to type in this award ID. Yeah, not yet. Sorry. Just 1 second. I want to show you where it goes before you take control. So I've entered in my award ID, and I'm going to hit retrieve. Oh, and of course, let me just take a look. 6604.
Just the part where like sometimes copy and paste is amazing. You don't have to worry about that.
All right, let's see if we got it. All right, so you'll notice that it actually takes you not to the loan history page, but the loan detail, because you're entering a word ID for a specific loan. So it's gonna take you to the detailed information of that loan. However, if you wanna go back to that loan history page, it's super easy. You click on this back button, the blue link here, and then that takes you back to that loan history. All right, we're gonna give you control back to your computers. Again, you have an award ID. This is exercise number 1. And you're going to go ahead and enter that award ID and get to that loan detail page.
Make sure you raise your hand if you have any questions at all.
Thanks for controlling the front. That was great. That makes sense. Everybody good? Okay, so are you guys going to be doing that on a regular basis? Typing in the award ID. I know I wouldn't be. But however, if I can cut and paste from something, that's fantastic for me. All right, I'm going to take back control, and I'm going to show you a few things that you can do on this loan history page. Hopefully find some things that are helpful to you. So when we look at this loan history page, the first thing you'll notice is that we have the student's information here at the top. Also, if at any time you can't hear me or it sounds very muddled or I'm talking too fast, please do not hesitate to raise your hand and be like, Lisa, you need to slow down, because I can get in a tendency to just keep going. All right, so we have this H over here. That's a history icon for us. So if you click on it, that's going to give you name history for that student. If you click over this, mouse over, I guess, this plus sign, that's going to give you the full SSN. Then you'll notice we have an blue icon. This is an informational icon, so you'll see them on other pages. And then you'll scroll down and we have loan history. This is where it kind of starts more into that loan history, and we provide you with student aggregate information. Our example here has undergraduate information, but if your student has graduate school loans, it'll also show the graduate aggregates in addition to the totals, and if there's Perkins, it'll also show those aggregate limits. Then I'm going to take you down here to loan summary. On the loan summary, we have here we have a filter box for you, so we hope that that makes things a little easier. So if you wanted to look at a certain type of loan, or maybe you're looking at loans that are, you know that a student had a bunch of loans and they consolidated them, and maybe you want to look at that information for that specifically, then you could look for that type of loan in specific by looking at loan type. You can sort by that. And then you can also tell it to display only by the certain types of loans as well. So we're trying to give you as many tools as we can to make your jobs a lot easier. Now we're going to look at the loan box here for the loans, so in our loan summary. You'll notice that we have these little numbers there in blue. That means you can click on them, and that will take you to provide you more information on that loan. We have the loan status here. Again, if you mouse over, that's going to tell you what that loan status stands for. Now, if you wanted to look at all possible loan statuses, perhaps you didn't know and you were like, well, I know that that's an RP, but what about this other thing? And you just didn't want to mouse over, you wanted to get a list. You can go up here to our question mark, this help, and that question mark is going to tell you everything, all the help text basically for that page. So if you go to that page, it'll tell you about the page, how to navigate through the page, it'll tell you the different loan types, and then it'll also tell you down here, once we get there, all the different those statuses that we have. How many of you have all the statuses memorized because you work in it so much? All right, great. So we also provide you the servicer information for that student, for that loan, for that student. Then we also provide your information here. Now, if you click on loan detail, or if you were not the original, so say a student had come from another school and perhaps they got the loan from the other school, you would be able to see that school listed and not your school. Okay. Now, if we click on loan detail, again, that's more specific. That's going to bring you more information about that particular loan. And so you'll be able to get all the information for that loan. And then we also have that blue icon again. What does that blue icon H mean? Right, history. So if you want to get history for that loan, you click on that button, and it's going to tell you at a particular time what was going on with that loan. So for instance, with this loan from March 2017 to June 2017, this loan was in grace. So it provides you an extra layer of information. So you can see if a student was in grace, if they were in repayment, maybe the loan had gotten deferred. We want to be able to provide you more information so it's easier for you to do your jobs. Okay, any questions? No questions? Okay. Well, that's it for the loan history information. So if you guys have more questions in particular about loan history, grants, anything about those pages, again, just let us know. We're happy to answer them for you. But now we're going to move on to enrollment reporting with Helen.
Yeah, everyone's favorite topic, right? I know it's mine. So, okay, so I want to see by raise of hands, who here does their enrollment rosters? Oh, I'm sorry, there's a question. Can we get a microphone over there so we can hear the question? We are a rock star today.
On that previous screen, when it showed the principal amount, and it was showing 1,236.
On the loan history?
The loan detail?
Yep, on the history there.
Uh-huh.
So the outstanding principal balance, that would never change unless there was an additional disbursement or whatever. That should always be whatever the original amount was. Is that correct?
So it could change. It's whatever it's outstanding. So if, for example, if this is a consolidated loan, there might have been different fees or whatever that was added to it, capitalized interest. It could change. I've seen it change before.
If there's payments made also towards that loan, you will also see that amount change.
I've seen it go down as the payments go, but then all of a sudden I'll see the jump, and I usually am reviewing it when I'm reviewing over loan limit.
Okay.
And so I was wondering if that's a place that I can look to see if interest has been added onto that loan.
Correct.
If that's why that amount is changing.
Correct. That is a good place actually to see that, because what's going to happen is so the status, maybe they went to defer or default, and then so it switched that loan. So now or they no longer in grace period. Now they're going to have to pay that interest. So then you would see it go up.
So then the interest would go up on theirs.
Correct. But that should be in your outstanding interest balance.
Okay, but I have,
Right.
well, I don't know if maybe I should go to
If
the
you have a
NSLDS
particular
help
one,
initially,
yes.
because I have an example from my school with me.
Yes, then we would
That I
definitely
wanted to ask
recommend that you
about.
take that example there.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you.
No problem. Thanks for asking the question. No, it does not. So that's the principal, right? So the interest would be different. Now the principal, if the student made payment towards the principal, you will see it go down. If something, okay, so it gets a little complicated when we talk about like subsidized usage. So if the loan loses subsidy, and perhaps they have to change something in back, because they have to put it back date, they may have to change that principal back so that it matches the date because of the interest. Perhaps the interest went up at that time because it goes back to that date that they lost the subsidy, which could, depending on what payments they had made, possibly change that principal. So you could possibly see it. Correct.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
and most often you would actually see it go down. It's very rare for it to go up, but there's possibilities for it to.
Some clarification, it makes a difference whether or not it's a direct loan versus an FFEL loan.
Correct.
Direct loans will never have interest on them because they are actually reported separately. On the FFEL loans, it is possible that that amount may include interest. So it just kind of, it was the way that it was reported. We don't have very many of those anymore since it was with the old program. Under the principal, correct, yes. Okay, any other questions? Okay, let's go back to my favorite topic.
Feel free to talk to us afterwards. I saw
Yeah.
that look.
Let's go back to enrollment reporting. So how many of you guys do enrollment reporting online? By show of hands? Okay, it's a good amount of you. How about any of you do batch reporting? Okay, good, a couple of you. And does anyone does spreadsheet submittal? Good, good, that's my favorite. And how about anyone has a third-party servicer? Okay, good. So the things that we're going to cover here are, I'll mention the different in each one of the reporting types. So I'll be able to, if you have any questions or anything like that, don't hesitate to ask. So first off, when it comes to enrollment reporting, it's very, very important for several different things. Now, there is a requirement that you have to report enrollment reporting every 60 days. And the enrollment information is not only for servicing of the loans, but also for subsidized usage, for SULA. There's several different things that the information is needed, just like Cynthia mentioned at the federal update yesterday, and also Eric Curdy mentioned yesterday at the NSLDS update. It's very important that we receive this information in a timely manner. It really has a lot of effect on the servicing of the loan, and also 150%. You would be surprised how lateness would really affect the student. So since we're talking a little bit about timeliness, we're going to go over the enrollment reporting statistics. This is kind of what we want to focus a little bit on today. How many of you are familiar with the enrollment reporting statistics? Raise your hand. How many of you received a compliance notification this year? Okay, probably a couple of you. So enrollment reporting statistics, these are statistics that are calculated the third Wednesday of every month. This tells us how complete your enrollment reporting has been in the past 165 days, or 135 days. So we really take a look at this and we monitor this quite a bit. Earlier this year, we started sending enrollment compliance notifications to those schools that were falling below our threshold, which is set today at 90%. So it's very important for you to take a look at this information, and you get this from going to the enrollment page. Then we went to the enrollment reporting profile, and then click on the button that says enrollment reporting statistics. So they're all in here. It looks like this particular school was a little low, and you see that little candy, we call it a candy corn, but it's an exclamation mark. That is a warning icon to you guys, letting you know, hey, there is something that needs attention in this page. If it was the most recent one, you would also see that icon right on the top of the page. So you want to make sure that you're following within the regulation, and we need this number to be, this particular one right here, % certified with program enrollment. We want that to be at 90% or above. 100% would be even better. But that's very, very important. If for any reason, this was actually, Valerie mentioned this at the NSLDS update earlier today. If for any reason you have students, a lot of your students are deferment-only students, and they're not enrolled in a program, it's very important that you let us know about that. So if the majority of your roster is those deferment-only schools, or excuse me, deferment-only students, let us know, and then we'll work with tailoring that threshold to be something that's more appropriate for your particular school. And then you just have to email us at the ercompliance@ed.gov. Okay. Let's go back, and I want to show you guys. Okay, so if you've received a letter notification in that same page, the enrollment reporting statistics page, at the bottom, we will let you know and we will tell you the different communications that we've had with you. So on there, we'll have the enrollment reporting compliance notification history, and here you'll be able to see a copy of that email that was sent out to you. Now, it's very, very important that you update your contact information under the org tab that Lisa showed you guys earlier. And there is a specific contact for enrollment reporting. We need to make sure that that email address, it's the most accurate, is updated on an annual basis, really, if it's at least verify that it's correct and that you're getting our emails. The first compliance letter will go out to the financial aid administrator in the enrollment reporting contact, but the second one will go out to your president. So just make sure that you want to make sure that you get the information before your president does. If for any reason you didn't get a notification or anything like that, this letter will tell you exactly the email address. It's a very copy of what we sent you. This will show the email address that it was sent to. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at an exercise. This exercise 2A just lets you go through and take a look at the enrollment reporting statistics page. Again, in order to get to that, you go Enrollment tab, Enrollment Reporting Profile, and then you click on the Enrollment Reporting Statistics. Go ahead and spend a couple of minutes taking a look at this page. If you have any questions, raise your hand high and we'll come by and assist. I'll give you guys access now. There you go. Okay. Okay, so it looks like everyone kind of were able to make their way over there. So let's continue because we have a lot of information to do. Now, what is one way that you can get your enrollment reporting statistics up? So we're gonna go over, and I'm actually gonna show you guys, and then you will be doing a lot of this, ways to improve your enrollment reporting statistics. We're gonna cover the exclude students with certified program box on the enrollment update. We're also going to take a look at the advanced search options so you can really filter through a lot of the data. And we're gonna go through all of these, and I'll tell you what a lot of the icons and everything mean. And we're gonna talk about the late enrollment certification warning, and then how to identify whether a program was reported by COD versus a school. So we're gonna go through all of these, but I'm gonna show you how to do them. So first, you retrieve your roster through the enrollment update. Still on the enrollment tab, and then you're gonna go to the enrollment update page. If I leave everything as is and just click retrieve at the bottom, let me do something else, 1 second. There. So if you just click retrieve at the bottom, it's just gonna give me my roster. So one of the things that we look at is to make sure that at least 90% of your students have program enrollment information. So as a school, I'm wondering, who have I not reported programs to? I only want to see those ones that I need to report programs to, or I still haven't. This box right here will give you that much. By clicking this box, we'll exclude anyone who has certified programs that have been reported. And I emphasize the certified for a reason, and I'm about to show you. So let's go ahead and click retrieve. Let's see what that roster looks like. It takes a couple minutes. It's filtering through. Okay, so it looks like my total students matching my criteria. So that's all the students in my roster without programs is equal to 69. That's really good for me to know because the page only shows me 15 students at a time. So then I know that I'm gonna need to use this little arrow to go to the next page every time I'm certifying. So you can only certify the 15th. Don't change those and then move to the next page because then you're gonna lose everything. So certify 15 at a time. So on here, it looks like I have several different students. Let me look here. All right, sorry, I just wanted to see something. So this first student, student number 1, it looks like they have 2 programs. But the difference between the two is this little icon right here, that eye. So that eye, if I hold my mouse just right, and you'll be able to see that program was a program that was reported to us by COD. So when you report the information to COD, we actually get that information and add it to the roster to assist you guys in reporting program information. So on this one, we have added it on here, but it has not been certified by the school. So you'll need to do the certification on there. When you're doing that, you need to pay attention to a couple different things. First off, make sure the credential level is correct, special program indicator. If you see there's no begin date, no program begin date, that's a very important date for you guys to look. Sometimes we'll populate it if we receive a date from COD. The date that we use from COD is an estimated date. So it's not going to be the exact date. So even if there's something populated in there, you need to make sure it's accurate and it's correct. And this is your chance to do that. Just update that. Also make sure the status is correct. Enter an effective date. But then here's the next thing, the program length. Valerie covered this in one of our lessons learned at the NSLDS update session today. This is very important. You need to make sure that whenever you're reporting your traditional programs, so those are the associate's degree or your bachelor's degree, make sure that you're reporting those in years. Because when we actually convert it to years, when we convert weeks or months to years, depending on that weeks in academic year, it could really throw it off and it could actually calculate it higher than it needs to be, and then later when it's updated, it could probably hurt the student. So just make sure, traditional programs, so just your associate's degree, 2 years, your bachelor's degree, 4 years. So just make sure that you're doing that in years, and it really helps. But make sure also, when it comes through COD, make sure that you're verifying that this information is accurate. Sometimes it will be, other times it might just be off, so just make sure everything's fine. It looks like we have a question. Can we get a mic please. I may be able to hear you, but I just want to make sure everyone on this side of the stage also gets to hear you as well.
Hi.
Hi.
So I work in enrollment services in the registrar's office, so I'm a records manager. But I have access to this because sometimes we need to update a manual to the National Student Clearinghouse, and then we come here. So I'm fairly new with using this. That's why I'm here. But I thought when I see the blue with the I, to not go into that one, but to rather go into the one that got reported from the third party, which is the clearinghouse.
So it all depends. If this particular student was in 2 general studies programs, or this might be a bad example, but like if they're, let me look for a different one.
But in that example, I would go not into the blue.
Correct.
I would go into the other one, correct?
Correct. You were going to the other one. So if maybe it was reported, so if you take a look, the program length is it's different.
Right.
One of the main identifiers for a program is the program length. So if we receive 2 different program lengths, we're going to count that as 2 different programs, just like we did here. So if that second program at the 4 years is the correct one, but the one at 64 weeks is incorrect, then what you'll need to do is actually report this with an enrollment status of X. In order to actually remove this status, make sure all the information on the second program is all correct. Fill that all in as accurate and everything. Make sure you put in the program begin date, make sure the effective date is correct. So I would probably just filter all that stuff down. And then you want to report the incorrect program with an X status. And make sure that the status effective date is backdated to the program begin date.
Okay, so if I put the X there, I should work with the one with the I, because that's the one being reported by COD, which I don't work with or know anything about, because I'm like from another.
Correct. Because it looks like it's a credential level 3. I believe that's a bachelor's. How do we find out about that? We look at the question mark. Let's see what a 3 is. I'm 90%
I think it's the
sure.
undergrad.
So it looks like it's a bachelor's degree.
Right, yeah.
How should we report in that? Not in weeks, but in years. So yes, in that one, we would go with the one the COD reported, and just make sure you get all the information over. So I would actually
Use that date.
use this date, because it's more
Thank
likely
you.
it.
Thank you.
I can't actually copy and paste in this computer, it looks like, but that's what I would do normally. Thank you, that's a great question, actually. One of the things also, just to piggyback off of that, just give me 2 seconds. If you are working with a third-party servicer and you're actually going online and making the updates, it is very, very important that you're also communicating with your servicer what the changes that you're making on NSLDS is. Because it's very possible that today you're making those updates, tomorrow your servicer reports, and they're going to override your information. So make sure the communication between you and your third-party servicer is there. Ultimately, even though you're using a third-party servicer, it is school's responsibility of the information that's reported to NSLDS. It's your responsibility that it's timely and accurate. So go ahead.
To follow on what she was saying, so what you're saying is if there's an I next to it, that entry came from COD, where we reported in COD. If that one is incorrect, and the one that is above it, say, is accurate, do we need to go back in and have COD updated?
No, you honestly, on here, if the one with the I is the incorrect one, you report that one with an X.
Okay, so we can just put it in with an X, and it'll
That's right.
and it takes it off eventually.
So it goes vice versa. If
Okay,
the one
so
that
it
was
will
certified
update
previously.
COD.
Correct.
Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure.
Yeah,
Thank
if you need to update that with COD, ask them to make sure. I don't want to speak for them, but on NSLDS, you'll just X out whichever one it's the incorrect one. You had a question up here?
If you go in and change them to read the same and don't use the X because you didn't know to use the X, what's that going to do to it?
So you're going to get, if you leave the program links as they are now,
No, as you make them the same.
So you're
Make
gonna
them
get
exactly identical.
you're actually gonna get an error. We have an error on an edit on this one, so it's gonna say that there is conflicting information. We don't ever want to get the same information from it twice because we're gonna consider it as the exact same record. So it's actually going to error out online, and this is the beauty about doing updates online, is that it will tell you right away, and it will tell you right here. It won't let you continue to the actual confirm and then the update. If you're doing it by batch, we're actually gonna send back to you a error acknowledgement report, which is gonna show that. And if you do it by spreadsheet, we're gonna kick the spreadsheet back out to you with that error message on the spreadsheet. I think there's a question up here.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I have a question. I mean, I've had situations, so what you're saying then, if I get something like this, the date information is correct and also the weeks. The only difference is that the program date and effective date is not in there. So I should not populate the same information and send it out, then I should X one of them out?
So for this particular example, it just happens as the zip code is exactly the same.
Right.
It could be, it's very possible that there's a different, the one that's reported by COD, it may be a different one because maybe they're dual enrolled or dual majors. So it's very possible for them to be the same. We need the most accurate information from you guys.
Okay, so the only thing that's missing is the date, then you just still want me to X one of them out?
If it's wrong, yes. If it's wrong, X it out. If not, then just continue filling in the fields that are missing.
Okay, all
Okay?
right.
Thank you for the questions. All these questions have been great, actually. Any more questions? Okay.
I think I mentioned it to you earlier
Yes.
on. The question that this lady over here asked about putting in the same information for both rows. I've had occasions when I put in for all 3 rows, it hasn't given me an error message, it's accepted all of them.
We'll take a,
And
I
it's
would,
done that
I would want to see that information just to make sure. I know,
with all the information is exactly the same on all 3 lines and it's accepted.
okay. Let's actually, let's do it. Yeah. Oh, I can't, let's see. You guys are putting me on the spot, but okay, that's fine. All right, so you're saying everything exactly the same? Oh, you're right. Well, let's make that F, and then I like to report in years. That's one less thing. Mm, 2010, that's fine. That's fine. That's today's date. That one's all in there. Okay. I took off the term dates just because they're optional, so I just want to, I'm trying not to get too many errors here. I also clicked on the address, by the way, so that's good that we're looking at this. This gives me the student's address information. Address information is required, so just make sure there's something in here. So let's just say that's fine. I selected it, and as soon as I check marked this, see how this is a previous certification date? It changed it to today. So did I get everything? The 0, yeah, let's remove that. That's fine, we'll remove it. And then actually, you know what, I want to change this to full-time as well. Okay, I think we're ready. So you go down and then click certified students, and it's actually letting me do that. So we're taking notes on this, right? All right, well, we will take that back. I have a couple of people working on this, probably as we speak. Well, thank you. All right. Yes, it does need address. Honestly, if there wasn't, or if it was missing a piece of the address, it would give me an error.
No, I mean, if there's an icon there, the whole line would need address, whether you make it the same.
So the address is not at the program level, it's actually at the student level. So if you submitted an address for the student previously.
I'm not talking about the student's address. I'm saying if you come upon 2 entries like this, and there's an I icon there, you would have to address that I icon and make some kind of a change here.
So the I icon, yes, you would, yes. Because more than likely, it's informational to you, and there will be, just like we saw, and you see on the very next one, there'll be blank fields, so there's edits that won't let you go through. Okay, so let's continue on.
Did everyone hear her question? Everyone got that part? Okay.
I think we have one other question over here.
Oh, we have this one first. Sorry. Go ahead, please.
So if you change that first one to an X, will you get an error message that you were trying to report an active status, there's an error message where you can't change an active status to never attended. You get an error message.
That's at the campus level. So at the program level, no. At the campus level, yes. You'll get an error. Error 38, I believe, or I believe
So
38.
we have an institution that has a cancellation policy of 30 days, so the student is allowed to be activated and has 30 days to cancel. So it gets reported to NSLDS as active, and then later their accrediting body allows them within that 30 days to cancel. But you can't cancel at an NSLDS. So what would be the best
It would draw.
process?
It would be a withdrawal at
So
that
we
point.
would withdraw of the start date, like the
Yes.
same date, the effective date and the start date?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Okay. Yeah. Yes, if once the W has been certified twice, it will drop off. Yes, but it would have to. We do require that double certification on there. Thank you for that. Okay, so
Helen.
Oh, we'll get you, we're gonna bring you the microphone, but we got one right in front of you.
yeah,
We'll
we
get
had
you
one over
next.
here, and then we're gonna go over there.
We go.
Okay. Good.
In the event that, let's just say, freshman year, a student is just a general studies student,
Mhm.
they decide to finally declare a major to be like psychology, will that put two programs on there? I'm new to the field, so will that put like general studies and then psychology, or will that have to be omitted, the general?
No, it could be the both. So you can have them in both of them. If they transfer from one to the other, just make sure to update that on here as well. But you can have more than one program. In fact, if by clicking the add the program, we can have several programs, and we've seen several students with multiple programs. Okay. If they're changing it, then you would just change the status to whichever one it was. So let's say if they withdrew from the general studies and then they're enrolled in the next one, then you would make that indication on there as well. Let's take one more, and then we have a couple of things I would need to show you guys.
So I just want to clarify that because this is like the second time that I've used it. Then I've gone on there and see the eye with the blue. And if you were to put that back at the 36, or I think you had 46 or 36
Yeah, it was like 64 or something.
weeks. And
Oh,
you
weeks
had-
is 32. So if I was
So
to,
I thought I could ignore that and work with the one that I assumed is coming via the clearinghouse. So you're saying both need to be corrected, or one needs to be
on the
X'd out?
website, we would need both of them. Yeah, you would need to either enter information for it or like exit out.
Okay, that's clear. So either I'm going to X one out and work with the one that's great, but something does need to be done with the I. You can't just ignore it and say, well, COD sent it, whatever. It's not
That's correct.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good.
Okay. All right. So the other thing that I wanted to get to, make sure that you guys know, is that you have to make sure, and we kind of covered it a little bit, make sure that the status effective date, the status at the campus level, so that's this one up here, and the program status are updated. So remember how earlier this one had a Q on here, and I said, oh no, let me make this a full-time, because in this big situation, they are full-time now. So it's something that you need to make sure that you are looking at both of them. So don't just update the program status and then never update the campus status. Make sure you're looking at both of those as well. And make sure the information is correct. So the next thing I wanted to show you was this sort option. So let's say that I've taken care of all the students that don't have program, but now I want to take a look and see how many students do I have where I haven't certified them in the last 60 days. So they might have a late certification. So on this retrieve sort option up here, if you actually just select certification date and click on retrieve, that's going to bring up all those students that have not been certified in the last 60 days. So, and actually, let me show you. Hold on. So you're going to see my school I'm working with. It shows you something different, but we're about to go back. So you would see a late certification icon at the very top, and then each student where this applies to will have a warning icon right next to the certification date. That lets you know that this particular student has not been certified in the last more than 65 days. We give you actually a little cushion there, but it is required that we receive certifications every 60 days. That's very, very important. This will actually, if they're not certified within every 60 days, it could hurt your statistics. So this is one way that you can go in and take a look and make sure, and it's a way for you to actually improve your statistics. And we talked about the program, the COD program. Let me look at one more thing. Actually, we've talked about statuses both at the campus and the program. So let's next go through exercises. So this is your turn to do some enrollment updating. So we're gonna be going through exercises 2B through D. We're gonna take about, I would say 5 minutes. 5 to 10 minutes. I know it's getting close to 2 p.m., so we will need to be out of this particular room by 2 p.m. There's another session that was moved here. But, so let's take the next 5 to 10 minutes to work on exercises 2B through D, please. And raise your hand high if you have any questions. Thank you.
process it?
Okay, so we need to get going because we only have 10 more minutes, so we're just gonna go through a couple of different things on here. So I am going to take back access. Okay, we're gonna go through a couple more things. We have 10 minutes and then they're gonna kick us out. So let's get through this because I want you guys to have all the information. All right, so the next thing is now that you are able to update students that had a late certification online, one of the ways they can do it either by batch or you can also do it by spreadsheet submittal is by requesting this report. It's the late enrollment certification report. And this one will give you, just like what you saw on the website, all the students that have a late certification. All you have to do is just make sure to enter in all the report parameters. And it will provide you a list of students that have not been certified after a specified date. So this is very good to really get those statistics up. And the error number 38, that's the one where it will help you with that particular error. This one, you can find this report under the report tab. The other one, especially if you're using a third-party service or if you're doing your own submittal, the enrollment submittal tracking page is a great page that you can go through, and it just gives you information as to like the files going back and forth between NSLDS and the school, or what your servicer has been reporting. For example, on this one, it will tell you when we sent you a roster, what day, how many students were in there, how many programs were in that. It will tell you when we received that information back from either the servicer or from yourselves. And it will also tell you of any updates done on the web. It will actually give you like a lump sum amount on there as well. But Lisa's gonna take you through the organizational page, and we're gonna do this kind of quickly.
All right, so since we have a few minutes, I'm gonna kind of zoom by, but again, if you have any questions, oh, it's sure, Amy.
They're the enrollment reporting profile page.
Okay.
Submittal tracking right here. There's a button on there. Correct. So that's submittal, correct. The report's under the report tab, the other one's in here. But let's get going to this.
Thank you. All right, so quickly I'll go through this for you. Again, if you have any questions, we have our resource center available for you. We have our NSLDS update tomorrow, number 13 at 1:35, so I recommend you attend that if you can. We also have another hands-on session tomorrow afternoon if you'd like to come, as well as this afternoon if you really want to get some more hands-on. All right, so the org profile page, this is a new page that we created for you, so to kind of make yourself a one-stop shop. We have links to the data provider schedule for your Perkins. We also have links there at the top for your enrollment reporting schedules, your profile, not just the schedules, but your profile. And then we also have your scheduled reports listed for you here, your batch services, and then your school transfer monitoring information, as well as the update button to take you directly to your transfer monitoring profile page so that you can make any updates that you need. Again, more information will be provided in the NSLDS update if you'd like to attend that session. Now for the reports, how many of you have downloaded reports? Comfortable with it, know how to do it? Okay, great. So we will talk about what reports we have and what enhancements we've done. We have 3 types of reports available to you: the ad hoc reports, the web reports, and scheduled reports. Also, all the layouts are found on IFAP if you need them. Now, we have under the report tab 2 listings, a report list and a web list. So the web list is all those web reports that obviously that you can get off the web, that you can request right then and there. They will come out as an Excel spreadsheet. And then we have our report list, which is basically a list of all those reports that you can either get ad hoc or scheduled. Now you'll notice that, sorry, let me just get to the right page that I want here. So I want to highlight here a few things on that page. You'll notice that we have these S's. So these S's are identifiers for you to let you know that they can either be scheduled or you already have it scheduled. So this is nice if you want to get a report that say maybe you get that delinquent borrower report, you want to get it every month. Well, you can schedule that so that you can get it every month. You will know that it's scheduled if it's a green S. If it's a red S, that means you haven't scheduled it, but you can. And if there's no S, then unfortunately that's a report that you just still have to get ad hoc to your TG mailbox. That's one of the enhancements we made. I also have this icon here, this log. Basically, it allows you to see history of when you've done your last report of that type. And then last we have again, we address this all the time because we think it's very important that you update your org contact information. This is really important to us because we want to be able to properly get a hold of you. Now, the exercises that you have left, we want to give you a few minutes. So if you want to ask questions, please feel free to ask us questions. Come to the podium. We have about 7 minutes. So we will happily answer those questions, but at the same time, I'd like to give you the opportunity to do your exercises. One of the exercises is to add a scheduled report, which I think is very helpful to you. But one thing that's interesting is that we have that report tab, but that is not where you will add a scheduled report. To add a scheduled report, you actually need to go to that organization profile page that we talked about, that one-stop shop area, and you will be able to go there and hit add if there's none listed, or update if you already have one that's listed there. You can simply click on the number 1 if you have one listed, and it will allow you to update any parameters if, say, you got something monthly, but then you want to switch it to maybe twice a month. All right, any questions for us? Okay, we're going to let you go ahead and do those last 2 exercises. Again, we're going to kick you out at 2 o'clock, but you do have 6 minutes, so please feel free to take advantage of those to play a little bit while you can on our practice site and ask us any questions that you have. We are here for you. Thanks for attending today. We appreciate it.